Sagres, Navigation School, 1480.
Next is Fernando. You've done well in your studies over the last 4 years. Oh, you needn't be nervous. Graduation interviews have no effect on your grades. I simply want to ask you a few questions.
This interview will determine the starting stats of the main character. You may skip this part if you would like. Continue with the interview. If you skip this interview, you will start with the recommended stats. I feel... Okay, I know that the answer is yes, but I just wanted to throw this out there. First off, welcome to Sagres. That's what we're going to check out today. This game was released September of 2023. I know that the question is continue with the interview, so I want to pick yes, but when you immediately follow that question with what happens in the other direction, it makes it sound like you might want to say no. This is sort of if I come up to you at a table and say like, hey, is this, do you mind if I sit here? Saying yes technically says that you don't want the person to sit there, you do mind. But generally people just say, something like, yeah, go ahead, or something along those lines. I'm not that the developer is watching this, but if they are, maybe reframe this question and statement following. Perhaps, would you like to continue the interview? Yes, I want to set my stats. And no, I will use recommended stats. I mean, that would be very, very clear right there.
Now, let's start by talking about your time here at school. Which subject did you like the most?
We're gonna say close... I mean, in these piratey kind of games, close quarters combat is generally the one that's most stat-driven. So I'm gonna pick that one.
Looking at your records, it seems you were assigned to be the captain in your graduation test. How did it feel to be a leader?
I'm not sure. Leadership, typically in these kind of fleet vessel type deals, gives you, we'll say, enhanced close combat damage, maybe? That was in New Horizons. If you had your fleet of 180 men skirmish, which means like you were adjacent to another target, you would do more damage with better leadership. Strategies, I mean, I'm trying to think of what this would mean. Would it mean that my cannon damage is better? We're gonna go with, I mean, since we're already doing close combat, from what I assume would be dueling, we're gonna go with leadership then. Unfortunately, we don't actually know what these stats represent.
I see. You also participated in a practice naval battle during the test, did you not? What tactics did you employ during the battle?
We're gonna say that we slipped into the opponent's blind spot and launched a counteroffensive. Also, what's with my hair, dude? A very anime character-ish.
From what I read here, it seems your second in command was injured during the fight. How did you handle that?
I guess I'll have more first mate ability? I don't know. Oh, apparently that's leadership.
Your ship had medical supplies in the cargo compartment. Was there a reason you didn't use these?
Actually, we unloaded all cargo at the start of the test in order to increase the ship's speed.
And you surprised every instructor here when you did so. Haha! No student has ever done that before. Now, I'd like to ask a few personal questions. What did you do over the weekend?
I went to the workshop.
In your opinion, who is the author of history?
History is the story of humans. It can change according to people's actions and their outcomes.
Interesting. And what do you think we could learn from the many wars that have broken out through the years?
The records of wars are written by the victors. Military power is important.
I see. One more question. What would you say is the most important thing in Portugal's efforts to pioneer the open seas?
Better built ships and more research into effective navigation tools.
I see. I must say, you're one of the more talented graduates we've had. This concludes the interview. Congratulations, you are officially a full-fledged navigator. You should be proud of yourself.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is at the end of this episode, I'm going to go ahead and include the answers, like what they actually lead to, as well as maybe a quick whatever rundown I learned on the attributes. So for example, option 1 might be swordplay, option 2 might be science. I'll try to put all that in at the end of the episode.
Also, if I may give one word of advice before you rush off on your first adventure, you should go thank Sir Antonio for his generous support. Far too many people turn a blind eye to orphans, but he saw potential in you. At any rate, thank you for your time today. Do take care.
In the school lobby. Fernando, I've been waiting for you. Oh, okay, that's a check. You are greeted by Sir Antonio's daughter, Lucia.
You just finished your graduation interview, right? Good. Then come with me to Lisbon. I'll explain along the way.
In the carriage on your way to Lisbon?
My apologies for meeting you so suddenly. I bet you never expected to see me, huh?
It has been 4 years, after all.
The reason I wanted to meet you is that I received a message from the royal court 2 months ago. They discovered a ship in Spain and... they say it's the one my father was on.
Wow, I was reading that with the totally wrong tone. I mean, generally, when someone's coming up to graduation, people are all happy and talking and stuff.
They conducted an investigation, and today I'm going there to hear what they found. Honestly, I'm scared to go by myself. It'd be really great if you could go with me. Oh look, we're already here.
We got 1 navigation, 1 logistics, 2 leadership, 2 swordplay, and some history and science. I mean, I think that's fair. If I were to try to recreate the character, I would maybe see about moving history down to science. Unlocked expeditions related to knowledge. Increases damage dealt in land battle. Oh man, land battles. I mean, I'm not saying something about land battles is bad. It means that maybe I don't want swordplay. Because since this is a sailing-based game, while land battles I'm sure will have their significance, we'll probably be doing a lot of sea battles instead. Navigation is sailing speed, we kind of figured that. Logistics, required to sail and dock, reduces the cost of replenishing supplies. Then leadership, reduces the rate of morale decline, increases persuasion and chance to sneak into towns. Maybe I should get rid of swordplay and put in navigation and logistics. We'll leave that alone for now and just see what the game's like, though.
Whew! We made it to Lisbon. We didn't make our way to the castle, but before we do, let's go check in at the inn first.
Alright. Is that just the... oh, here we are. Oh, it has a little bulb on it.
Welcome to our inn. Here we are. Usually this is where you'd come to rest and recover, but that's not what we're here for right now. What we want to do is record our journey. Huh, you're an explorer? Would you like me to record your journey thus far?
Would you like to overwrite your previous save data? I don't have previous save data, but thanks.
That takes care of that. As you just saw, we can record the progress of our journey at any inn. You never know what could happen out in the wild, so it's a good idea to update that record often. Now, back to what we were doing. Let's go to the castle. Once we're out of the inn, you'll see it up to the north.
I see that, but I just want to check out other things. How about tavern?
We're going to be late. We need to go have an audience at the castle.
Alright, fine. Hey, what business brings you to the castle? I want a title.
Okay.
Oh, you must be Lucia. The audience chamber is this way. Please, follow me. In the audience chamber.
Greetings. I am the officer charged with investigating the disappearance of Sir Antonio. Nice to meet you. You are aware that we came into possession of his ship after it was discovered by a Spanish merchant vessel 2 months ago, correct? Yes, I was told an investigation would be done. I've been waiting to hear back about it. 8 months ago, we received word that the ship had embarked on its return journey from Rome. That was the last we heard of it until the Spanish contacted us. Rome? We conducted an investigation into the matter over the last 2 months, but regrettably have found no trace of Sir Antonio. His ship was in pristine condition with no one on board. It was entirely empty. Do you have any idea what could have happened to him? We didn't find his body, but in cases such as this, we are forced to conclude that he did not survive the journey. Since your father worked on behalf of the kingdom, we have prepared a consolatory sum for you. You may expect it shortly. What? Okay, I understand. In front of the castle. None of this makes sense. Even if what he said is true, it shouldn't have taken 2 months to arrive at that conclusion. Also, something he said bothered me. As far as I know, my father was an adventurer who worked for the guild. He didn't work for the kingdom, like that investigator said. Maybe Nicolau knows something, since he used to work with my father. Let's go talk to him at the guild. Something's not right. We should go to the guild and get some information. If you're looking for information, you're in the right place. Hey, Nicolau.
Oh, Lucia, I hear you had business at the castle.
Yeah, but something isn't sitting right with me.
Lucia explains what happened at the castle.
I was also under the impression that Antonio only worked for the guild. Come to think of it, though, well, he did do work for the guild. Sometimes he would leave on his own personal voyages, and whatever he did, he'd use one particular ship.
Sounds like that's where we should start. Is there anything you can tell us about that ship?
Wait, you planning on looking for him by yourselves?
Yeah, of course.
You've always been fearless ever since you were young. How about this? While I gather information, you two work on getting your sea legs by helping the guild.
What will we help with?
The guild's main line of business is to accept and facilitate expeditions for clients looking to uncover relics and find undiscovered landmarks. These expeditions take you all around the world, which should help you in your quest to uncover the truth about Antonio.
Sounds great. You're good too, right, Fernando? You've always wanted to sail the seas, and now that you've graduated navigation school, the timing's perfect.
Glad you're up to the task. For your first expedition, I'd suggest signing the Karnak Stones contract. You can read up on it at the guild's library.
Okay, I like this setup. A lot of these games, it's like you start with a debt, pay it off. Like Elin, for example. So I'm glad this is more of a mystery that I would be curious to know the answers to. These are the books in our guild's library. Have a look if you like. Contain information about Treasure of King John contract. All right, we're just going to click on all these for now, but not worry too much about it. We will, however, read the history of the Karnak Stones. West of Nantes, and I may be mispronouncing these words like Sueta, which I think is down here, if memory serves, maybe not. Right in the region of Karnak are several stone alignments taller than even the tallest human. Nobody knows who put them there or where they came from, so it requires one duration of the contract. Wait, that's how, maybe like 1 month. That would make more sense. We have 1 month to complete this expedition and report back to receive our reward. Okay. 17 renown for that. And 3,000 gold. Alright, well, I don't know if I should attempt to do all of these at once since we have 1 month to do them. Let's just hit the Karnak Stones as recommended. These are pulsing because we apparently have none of it. I don't think it should be pulsing right now because we technically haven't been allowed to do anything.
Just like that, you can find a lot of information about expeditions in the guild library. It's a good idea to come here regularly. Other towns have different books too, so it's worth dropping by the guild in every town that has one. Now that you got more information, you're almost ready to head out and explore.
Let's get going then.
Haha, you always do like to jump right in, huh? You can, of course, go out there and find what you're looking for with information alone. But by signing a contract for the expedition, you receive a lump sum of gold up front. You can use some of that to get even more clues at the tavern.
So the overall reward is the same either way, but if we sign a contract, we can get money to use on supplies and to buy information about where to go next.
Exactly. I suggest you check out the guild's expedition logs, and then sign the Karnak Stones contract.
Looking for a new expedition? Take a look at our ledger. This is also where you report on completed expeditions. Why do you gotta alternate the names here? Alright, let's go ahead and get that contract. Oh, it's 1 year. Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. I was thinking I had 1 month to do most of these and 2 for a couple. Okay, oh, not most. This Karnak Stones contract, yeah? It's a 1 year contract worth 3,000 gold. Want to take this one? Sure. Excellent. You get half the reward up front as a deposit, which comes out to 1,500 gold. Best of luck. Might as well sign them all if I don't know. Alright, and that means that we probably can do this infinitely. I was wondering how they would do that. I didn't think they would despawn this, but maybe they would just get rid of their reward. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is... I like this.
Great job! Each contract has a specified duration, so you'll want to make sure you finish on time. Of course, you'll need a ship to get anywhere. For now, I'll let you borrow mine. It's not fit for long journeys, but it'll do the job for anything nearby. Let's head to the harbor.
It's time to head to the harbor. Oh, I don't know what kind of voice to do for that one. Heading out to sea.
My ship's always ready to set sail. Okay, once you make the proper preparations, that is.
What sort of preparations?
Only the basics. For a smooth journey, you'll want a crew of 15 and about 20 portions of food and water.
15 crew members, 20 portions of food and water. Got it.
Seeing how it's your first voyage and all, I'll cover your costs. Buy whatever you see fit.
Oh, thank you. Let's go stock run supplies, Fernando. We need to assemble 15 crew members and buy 20 portions of food and water.
And I kind of assume that the game's not going to make us feed Fernando and Lucia, but it would be... It is silly to think of that in the context of the game, because we're hiring specifically 15 people and we're only feeding them. Okay, so this is a 10 button here. Alright, I don't like this. I think numerical typing would be the best way to go. Failing that, sliders. What happens if I get 21? Well, he said it was on him, but I think it's probably going to come out of my book here. Minimal crew, split evenly. What is minimal crew? 13? What is split evenly? Oh, split food and water. Okay, based off of my capacity. And yeah, that makes sense. Alright, we'll get one more food than water. Wait, no, that's... Apparently food weighs differently than... What? No, okay, I see. Yeah. Interesting. And water actually costs. Alright, we'll take one more unit of food over water for them. Maybe I should. The game hasn't told me about raw materials yet. We're not gonna. No, he'll probably tell me to go buy some. Fine, we'll do 20. We'll follow this instead of pretending like we know what we're doing. The requested supplies have been transported to your ship.
So, Karnak stones are said to be near Nantes, which is up north from here. If you're out at sea and you start to run low on food and water, drop anchor at the nearest harbor and stock back up. Also, if you need more information about your expedition, talk to the barkeeper of any tavern. You hear a lot of rumors from other explorers. There's a good chance they can help. Oh, and one more thing. Do either of you happen to speak anything other than Portuguese?
I don't think Fernando does, but I can speak a little Spanish and have some knowledge of the Romance languages.
Good, because as you can imagine, they don't speak Portuguese in most other places. If you don't speak the local language, you won't understand what anyone says.
Sounds like we'll either have to learn more languages or hire an interpreter later.
That's not a bad idea. Also, and I'm sorry to say this, but you might want to hide the fact that you're a woman. Some sailors won't treat you right otherwise, as bad as that is. Here.
Nicolau hands his bandana to Lucia, who uses it to tie up her hair.
That should work just fine. Now, you two better get going. I'll head back to the guild to gather information.
I like it. They actually changed their portrait. Thanks, Nicolau. Time to set sail. Lucia joined your crew. Oh, we're gonna click on other things now. Alright. Before we sail anywhere, let's pick up some cargo with any leftover space we have. Oh, come on. Fine. It's time for us to take to the seas in search of the Karnak stones. Let's head to the harbor so we can set sail. Heading out to sea. Departure procedures will take 8 days. Wanna head out? Set sail. Finally, our first voyage. Before we set sail, there are some things you need to know. First, you can move around using W, S, A, and D keys. Time only passes when you're moving, so feel free to sit still for a moment if you need time to think. Next, your crew will consume food and water every day you're at sea. As you know, you can stock up on food and water at the supplies shop in the harbor. Yeah, I sure do feel like a graduate of the prestigious Navigators Academy or whatever it was. If you run out of food or water, your crew's morale is going to sink. And when your crew goes without food or water for too long, well, you can guess what happens. Make sure to keep them well fed. Cannibalism! Speaking of your crew, pay close attention to the minimum number of crew members needed for your journey. You won't be able to get much speed out of even the fastest ship if you don't have the crew for it. Also remember that you can lose crew members either to starvation or accidents. It's a good idea to hire a bit more than the minimum when putting together your crew. Lastly, we need to talk about the wind. It's really important when sailing. Alright, looks like it's going east. While on the water, you can use the mouse to change the direction of your sail. Okay, I'm not totally sure what this... Will we see that once the windows go away? If your sail matches the direction of the wind, you'll go faster. The opposite is also true. You can tell which direction the wind is blowing by looking at the colors in the sky. I'm assuming, okay, that's probably just meaning like if I'm pressing D to go to the right. That was not actually a sail that I set in the configuration anywhere. Okay, that's probably what... I don't know, I just assumed that they went extra complex on this, but no, it's just probably you push in that direction, you go that direction. And that's the end of the lesson. I'm sure you'll be a seasoned navigator in no time. Now we need to head to Nantes. It should be north from here. I'll mark a path in your map. Follow that, and it'll all be smooth sailing. Oh, we do set... Okay, I actually do set... That makes sense, alright. Can't go through the yellow border. The Nantes thing? Not Nantes, the something stones, Karnak stones. Entry procedures for Nantes take about 8 days. Want to enter? Wow, yeah, when I thought about docking at the nearest port, but then I thought, oh yeah, there's logistics. Okay. I probably will recreate our dude after we finish the tutorial. Give me a bit to figure out what the attributes actually mean. We made it to Nantes. Oh. They speak one of the Romance languages here. I know a little, but I'm not very fluent. I'll do my best to translate, but don't expect perfection, okay? According to the information we got, the Karnak stones should be west from here. We'll need to head out on horseback, which brings me to an important point. Unlike seafaring, where we stock up on food and water, for land-based travel, we need to stock up on provisions. They sell them at the tavern, so you can go there whenever you need some. At the moment, we got plenty, so let's head out and find those Karnak stones. We can leave through the city gates and then head west. Let's head out the gates and go west to look for the Karnak stones. Dummy. I'm intentionally clicking on other things, just to see what they say.
Heading blah blah blah.
We need 8 days to prepare to leave on horseback? What? Oh geez, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely raising that logistics. Okay, you can't just click, and there's no sale, which obviously there's not going to be a sale. I'm just trying to find ways to comment. According to the information we received, they should be around here. Wait, are those the Karnak stones? They looked a little small. I thought they were going to be 2 or 3 times the size of a person. Still, it'd be worth researching how they all got here and why they're lined up the way they are. Oh, I think he did. I think he did pay for my supplies at the beginning, because I think that's the money I started with. I'll start writing all this down in the name of research. That should be enough, right? Let's get ourselves back to Lisbon. That's quite the triumphant music for tutorial rocks. Adventure begins. Find the Karnak stone. You can't even keep your spellings the same way. Entry proceed. Wow, that is one long line to get in. Yeah, we made it back in one piece. Oh, there's our date. Now that we found the Karnak stones, it's time to return to Lisbon. We need to report to the guild about our findings. I'll draw the path back to Lisbon on our map. There. Now let's head to the harbor and set sail. We can finally do stuff now, huh? If you're planning something. Okay, so actually, I never released it because I never ended up making another video on it. But there was a video game that was basically, what do you call it? Microtransaction heaven, essentially. And it was one of these sailing games. I forget the exact name of it. I played it quite a bit, and I made a document with every single port in the game. What they all sold, what kind of ships they started with, so that way you could speed run your way to like a really classy purple level ship or something. And I made one for everything, and even what the current player leaderboards in each city were, so that way I could, if I wanted to, convert the entire game map to belong to me. If this game is super interesting, I might do something similar for this one, but I mean, to be fair, it took me like 4 days or something, if I remember right, to carefully write down every bit of information. For example, whether they sold pine or guns or whatever in the store. But since not every place has a guild hall or a castle, that might be worth thinking about. They'll probably all have in, leaving through the gates, except maybe one tile wide ports. Actually, we didn't even see what he had for ships. Oh, he just has repair and upgrade. Right, regular harbor stuff. We already finished our current contract. Let's go back and report it to the guild and list. Okay, so she does actually get enough of my antics. It looks like you cap out at provisions. It's been over a month since your last record. Sure, we'll save. Alright, let's sail. I didn't stock up on food, but we still have plenty. Oh yeah. Why is it red? Maybe I just don't get anything for right now. Oh, because I was sailing west, that's why it was red. Okay, this is the first game I've seen where you can move your sails in the opposite direction to your heading. I did try, I think it was online MMORPG wannabe. I remember getting completely bored just trying to sail in the tutorial though. Entry procedures for Lisbon take about 8 days. Alright, we're back in Lisbon. Hopefully everyone wasn't too worried about us. Let's get to the guild and report our discovery. Let's visit the guild and report back on the Karnak Stones contract. If you're looking for information, you're in the right place. Welcome back. Let's hear your report. You completed the Karnak Stones contract. Your renown increased by 17. You received 1,500 gold as a reward. Excellent work. Can't wait to see what your next expedition is.
Great work on your first expedition. You did really well.
Thanks. It was fun. I'm already excited for our next adventure.
That's the allure of the seas. Now, let me tell you what I found out about your father. The ship Antonio always used when ascending to his own personal business had a rooster on the sail. Those sails specifically used by royal ships.
So my father really was working for the kingdom.
It would seem so. The kingdom has shown a great interest in the sea these days. The navigation school in Sagres is an indication of that.
It sounds like your next step should be to go to the castle to find out more.
About that, I think it'll be easier for you to get information if you work for the kingdom like your father did.
Interesting. That sounds like a great idea, but how would I even start working for the kingdom?
That's the hard part.
Ah.
Rather than seeking them out, it'll be faster for you to get them to seek you out.
Oh.
You can do that by gaining more renown as an explorer. The more renowned you become, the higher the chance they'll take notice and give you work.
That's smart. I was hoping to get back out into the seas anyway.
For now, you should work to accumulate 80 renown. You'll gain renown as you complete more expeditions. That means you need to gather information, get some contracts, and report your findings. Keep in mind, though, that you can only sign contracts here in Lisbon. We're Portuguese, after all.
Alright, got it. Hear that, Fernando? We're going to get famous so that the royal court comes to us. So, what should our next expedition be?
Someone from the guild is looking for you. Go to the harbor.
Heading out to sea?
Who?
Dude, we were in the guild! No, ridiculous!
You, I just caught you.
What is it, Nicolau?
Did you happen to run into any danger during your trip to Nantes?
No, not in particular.
What a relief. There was something I forgot to teach you before you left. Rather than telling you, though, it's best I show you. Fernando, take out your weapon. I'm going to teach you how to fight.
Right now?
Basically, our character serves the whole silent protagonist thing, but then they insert somebody to talk for you. Whether it's a robot drone that follows you flying in the eye, a la Destiny and other games like it, a robot in the back of your head via Master Chief, or just a sidekick, Lucia. And there's so many of these games. Look, if you don't want, if you want to convey the story via a talking piece that's always essentially with you, just make that the protagonist. Okay.
Okay, let me explain the basics of battle. At the beginning of each fight, you and your opponent will choose cards. Every battle card has an affinity indicated by the card's color and symbol. You can see how the different cards interact with each other here. Each turn, you and your opponents have 3 chances to attack, which means you have to choose 3 cards. Selecting a card from your hand below and put it in the slot will ready that card. Try it now by selecting 3 cards.
Okay, just clicking.
See how it says win when you selected those cards just now? You can see the result ahead of time when you know what cards your opponent will play. Also, your opponent will always choose their cards first, so all you need to do is pick cards that will beat theirs. Lastly, you can place the cards you picked with other cards at any time during this phase. Now, press that start battle button.
Is it obvious where? Oh, here, down here.
Not half bad. That's roughly the flow of battle. You select 3 cards that are then pitted against your opponent's cards in order. Next, I'll explain to you how intuition works.
Too bad there really isn't a sound effect for even how when we hit the dude.
During the first round, I let you know which cards I would play, but the opponents you face in the wild won't be so kind. Their cards will be hidden. That's why you're going to need a bit of intuition. Intuition allows you to guess at which cards the opponent will play. Don't worry, this happens automatically. There's nothing you need to do to trigger it. Let's try this again. You'll see that some of my cards are hidden this time.
Whoops.
Good work. You've now got a grasp on the basics of combat. Sea battles play out exactly the same as land battles, so don't worry too much about that.
Oh, okay, so my swordplay is not going to be worthless at sea then.
That's all for today.
I mean, it doesn't make sense that it would be, but I read it literally as they had it as their description. You were sweating bullets there, Fernando.
Your adventures ahead are going to be dangerous at times. Remember, what you learned here today will help you out faster. Also, take my sword with you. That little dagger of yours is no blade for a proper seafarer.
Received a longsword.
Don't forget to equip your new weapon. You can do so from your inventory.
Thank you, Nicolau. We'll make sure to be careful on our voyages.
Good. Then I suppose I'll see you later.
You've completed the tutorial. Now you're free to explore and progress through the story by taking on expeditions, making new discoveries, and becoming the world's greatest adventurer. Let's go ahead and get some. We'll do what the tutorial told us. 2020 markets. Welcome. Are you looking for anything in particular? So this is just stuff we equip. All right. So it looks like we won't be making money off of selling from port to port. Okay. Come back when you've taken a contract for a new expedition. Lottery. It'll cost 20 gold to fill your bag. So we ate 1 of 6 as a kid. That's what that means. I kind of figured 5 of 6 is what that meant, but they earlier said something about 20 provisions, I thought, but maybe not. Let's go make our save. Okay. And now, we're going to try this lottery. Whee! Okay. We didn't win. Okay. Well, I mean, we saved, so that was the whole point. I managed to haggle the price down to 225 gold. Not bad, huh? Here you go. Okay, so we actually won money out of that. Well, let's try a bit more. I want a big win. What? We had 3 cups in a row. So you have to match this thing or something? Yeah, let's try loading. I'm not sure what we actually start. Well, here, just in case. We'll record. Let's see what we made for money, if anything. But we could always load anyways. Oh, that's not. We have exit game. And that's about it. Alright, you did great. See you again soon. The story of Sagres is a fictional narrative. Whoops. Oh, like, I'm assuming I hit load game. Alright, let's try loading the previous one and see what we had. So yeah, we actually lost money on that. We'll try again, one more time. I just want to win something, because, I don't know. I feel like clicking through all the game. Sorry about that. OBS decided to it tried to open something. I've never seen that pop up before, and I've been using OBS for years. But it said OBS-browser something exe wanted to access the internet, public or private network, and I'm like, why? Who is this? I looked it up, and yes, it is OBS directory. It's not in the game. I don't know. I have no idea why that happened. I've never, ever seen it pop up. Even when I've tried streaming and tried to link things through chat boxes and stuff. Let me make sure I'm actually still recording. Yeah, I'm recording all right. I don't know. I have no idea what that was about. I see left of this month how many we can get. I have recreated our character. Let's take a look at how we stand now. Going to escape. I can also equip items from here in the escape menu. I think it's a little weird to hit escape to equip items. Normally that's reserved for just settings, but this is really an alternative menu. It's like hitting the start button on Nintendo. Alright, as for our character himself, I've gone ahead and condensed all of my stars up to the top section and gotten rid of my stars in the knowledge section. It does say increases chance of success in whatever related incidences, whether it's history or theology related incidences. But this might be better for me. We'll see. Let's see what else is there. Okay, there's in the market we can also buy this cargo space. Let's go and give that a shot. There's a difference between cargo space and capacity. Capacity is stuff like food. Cargo space are trade goods. Yes, trade goods do exist in the game. I was thinking that it's purchased in the market. No, it's purchased in the harbor. Will they actually allow me to upgrade my cargo space here? And we can turn one of the cargo space in, turn one of the storage into cargo space. So all of these changes would cost 1,500. Now the game keeps track of which is which. So for example, we have one storage, one gun port. If I turn this into storage and this is the gun port, it's still going to cost me more money. So the game does keep track of which is which. I'm not sure if this is the way to go, doing something like this, because I don't know how much food these people take. So we'll hold off for a moment. We need to fly. Not fly. Okay, I'm just going to say that from here on out. We do need to fly back here in a bit. We're going to discard. We're not going to make the trade just yet, or upgrade, but we can sell right here. So we're going to go and cash in our wool. The reason why we're not going to worry about it this moment is because we are going to return here once we've done the La Giralda. Now, for many of the expeditions, I would have played just a little bit ahead, so I could get a good grip of what I'm doing. But for the other expeditions, you do need to have them enabled. For this one, you don't, only because you can access the landmark just by walking up there. Still, it's fine. Let's go ahead and set sail. Fly right into Seville. Then we can just walk up this landmark.
This is the place, Fernando. I think this is La Giralda. It's a lot different from the other buildings around here, huh? They say this style is Islamic. Apparently the bell tower has 28 bells in it. Since we're here, we should probably climb up to see them. Wait, Don't go up without me, hold on. La Geralda, we already know about this place.
If you're looking for information, you're in the right place. We're not gonna worry too much about reading that. Let's see here. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's unfortunately. So far, the only ships I've seen for purchase are in Lisbon. So even Seville doesn't have ships. Even London doesn't have ships. We can, however, get our upgrades on. All right, what else is there? Let's take a look at the market real quick. Nothing jumps out at me that I would like to pay for. In the tavern, you can drink to increase your morale and intuition. I'm not going to worry too much about that. You get morale back by resting at an inn, so that's fine. We can, however, do more lottery. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the normal story, not worrying about the lottery. And then I'm going to catch back up on the same save file that we started that recording segment on, doing the lottery. That way you don't have to sit here and wait for me to finish getting any sort of lottery wins, which is what I'm going to try to do to make sure I'm getting lots of money. Let's go ahead and set sail. Ah, the wind just flipped on me. Okay, so when sailing into the wind, other than having my sail point this way, we also want to go tacking, I believe it's called, where you're just zigzagging up and down instead of sailing straight into the wind. All right. We wanted to do the discovery. I didn't notice how much food we were... Hold on, let me check the footage. Every in-game day, we lose 6 morale, 2 food, and 1 or 2 water. So we'll say we need 4 capacity per day of sailing. We'll go ahead and turn in our quest, I suppose, our expedition for the La Geralda. I did some testing to find out where all of these places are. So we're going to just go on a giant quest-going spree, I guess. You don't actually need to sign up those contracts. They just need to be available as an expedition, from what I can tell. Now that we know Geronimo's Monastery, which is probably not how you say it, let's go and hit that.
The Geronimo's Monastery. We made it. Honestly, I didn't realize it was so famous since I've seen it so many times. Now that I take a closer look, though, the carvings on the outside walls really are elaborate. They're great. They say sailors would pray here before embarking on a voyage. We should do that too. Everyone prayed, right? Since we're here, let's stop by the plaza. I want to buy a souvenir if they have any. Let's take a look at that memorial anchor. Spoils from battle plus 10%. The souvenir bought at the Geronimo's Monastery is said to grant safety to seafarers during their journey. Okay. Is it just automatic? I mean, this says changeable at shipyard for the figurehead. So it's not that. This might be automatic. I'm not sure. Okay. Well, we also have the cargo space to deal with. Cargo space not to be confused with capacity, but I probably will be doing that quite regularly. Food is not 1 capacity. Food is 5 capacity. Water is 10 capacity. Our crew at the current size eats 2 food and sometimes 1, sometimes 2 water. Most of the time it's 2 water. So we'll say it's roughly 1.75 or something. Since we're losing 24 capacity and it takes us 30 capacity per day, we're losing roughly 1 day's worth of maximum supplies by doubling up or tripling our capacity. Tripling our cargo space. Sorry, that last bit. We used to have 5, now we're going to have 15. I could also have purchased things from... Do I want to purchase? You know what? Let's go ahead. It probably would save me some money in the long run, or gain me money in the long run. I was thinking about just saving that money so I get the 50,000, because I'm almost halfway there, right? But this will give me spoils from battle, and I haven't shown a battle yet. Surprisingly, it's not an achievement to do a battle. But yeah, let's go ahead and just buy that. Do we want to buy the improved hull? Probably not. I mean, eventually we'll want to collect it. You know what? I'm sure that will be well over 2,000 when we finally have enough money. Let's go ahead. But then I have to pay to upgrade it. No, let's not. Let's not just waste money just to waste money. Just to collect stuff when I don't even have the funds necessary to get out of the starter ship. So now we can get the king figurehead. That'll cost 1,500 on its own. We'll get the cargo space. And unfortunately, you might have realized this when I was selecting buy ship, because that's when I thought about it.
when we're buying ship, it's not adding it to a fleet. This is the only ship you have, as in you only get to pilot one boat. This is what I meant by it's going to be uncharted waters on training wheels. Even when you're going to cargo, you only get the one cargo. Like when you buy, it's going to fill up all your stockpile. The cannons, we're actually going to be sailing towards a place that sells cannons. It really depends more about your port of origin. In Nantes, I think that's the name of the city, the only other city we'd visit besides Seville and Lisbon. I bought wool there on my money playing playthrough, the one where I'm being more careful about stuff, and then I save that progress once it's caught up to the real timeline. Well, then when I was checking places around, over to the east, I forget which city it was, maybe Barcelona or something, they sell wool also, but they bought my wool at a bigger price than what they sell wool for. So it's not even the local specialty, it's just where did you buy it that seems to matter the most. So here we bought cannons, and I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. Actually, we're ready to set sail. Right? I think I have everything. I've done this so many different takes. We could stop in La Coruna now, but you know what? Let's just do it a little. I like that the whole game is frozen. We'll just keep going for now, so I can show you that cannons bit. We'll stop there on our way back. Then we go to gates. According to our information, this is where the old Germanic ship grave should be. Let's look around. You just gotta dig up all 3 artifacts here. Alright, now I gotta find the 3rd one. Where are you hiding, dude? It's the tiny little, looks like a bell pepper. Once the shovel depletes, you just have to start over. I guess your team decides to rebury everything. There we go. Excavation successful. That's that. We found everything. A dress, a helmet, a sword and shield. This must be where the grave was. You think we'll go to Valhalla if we live good lives? Bet it's not easy. Let's just start writing all of this down. Okay, that should do it for our records. Let's head back. I want to see the look on everyone's faces when they get a glimpse of what we found. Sutton Hoo helmet. Alright, our team's morale is down. I don't actually know what the penalty is when that happens. But now that we're in London, let's take a look at the harbor. If we try to sell, you'll see that we're selling cannons. Or, we're selling our cannons, and we could buy more. It's ridiculous, but yeah, it is a profit. I haven't tested this next part, but I assume that when we buy cannons here, it'll be also a profit. But before we do that, let's go ahead and make sure we have everything we need. And I'll even make a save. That's not the right button. And I spliced in my lottery winnings. Let's go ahead and purchase our cannons. Let's set sail. I think the treasure's around here. Let's start searching. You get one shot to get it. If you hit a fish, nothing happens. You just have to re-pilot into the area. I caught something. These things don't look like your average antiques. Just look at these designs. It turns out the king's treasure really was in the ocean. It's probably alright if I keep this necklace, right? No? Okay, fine. I was trying to do tacking, but I'm not doing very good, because it veered on me. After being summoned to the deck, you see floating wreckage on the starboard side of the ship, the remains of an unlucky caravel. Perhaps you could find something of use among the debris. This is just a random event. It wasn't intentionally because I flew to that spot. Investigating a shipwreck requires great stamina and strength. It is important that only the most useful items be brought back. I'm not sure if it's just better to pick always the highest value, but we'll go ahead since our skills are low. Oh, come on. You lost 7 crewmates. You know what? We're loading. I'm going to leave that in, although I could just as easily splice it from here. It's fine. I do want to show off the random event. Buy our cannons. Since that was the first random event we'd seen. This is just you press E once, the hook goes all the way down. If it hits a fish, you lose. And then you just have to drop back in. I caught something! These things don't look like your average antiques. Just look at these designs. It turns out the king's treasure really was in the ocean. I can't click through it. You might even have noticed the arrow is grayed out. That's probably alright if I keep this necklace, right? No? Okay, fine. Fancy necklace box obtained. Let's take a look at it. Necklace box Lucia secretly took from the treasure she found deep in the ocean. When you said she couldn't have the necklace, you didn't think she'd take the box. That's actually kind of funny. I'm gonna stop here or in Bordeaux. Gotta go here, then all the way south. Yeah, it's alright, I suppose. I'm just trying to plot for, I guess, in calendar time. Maybe I should have started with high logistics because I do kind of care about the calendar time. Almost no one else is probably going to care. Let's see here, we need to rest to get our morale back up. We could also purchase beer, but I figured that you don't want to see that happen because it's really just keep drinking. Here, I'll do it once. Have a drink, boost morale and intuition. Morale increased by 20, intuition increased by 10%. And that intuition is just as long as you're boosted. 20 days left. You can keep drinking. Like I said, I can boost this all the way up, but it's still only a 10% bonus. So it would refresh our bonus. What we need to do here is actually head out the gates, travel straight north, and if we went from Rouen, we just have to go to that tree right there. You know, ever since the monastery came into view, I've been thinking, it's incredible they were able to build something so beautiful atop this island. What, you think we could use it as a fortress if something bad happened? What sort of strange scenarios are you thinking about? So much for my moment of wonder. I would personally just rather play Lucia, not this mute protagonist. This is not really an interesting exchange where she's talking to your dude. You realistically, every time a game does that, where they give you a sidekick who does all the talking for you, I feel like the writer is just trying to use a crutch, but it's not using it very well. It's more like beating you to death with this crutch. This is it. It's a lot smaller of a cathedral than I expected. The cathedral is built atop the remains of a saint. That must have quite a bit of religious significance. I do like the reverent atmosphere here. Let's rest here for a while before we leave. Walk back to Nantes. We need, yeah, I guess we could do we can go a little further without provisions, because I assume that it costs you the same amount of provisions, no matter whether you have 2 or 5 food. And we could sell, wow, that's quite the profit there. I mean, it's probably this, yeah, you know what, let's just go ahead. Alright, but we did want to walk out these gates to Toulouse. I'm sure that's not how you say it because this is a French city. Wow, are these things all pilgrims? It seems the things I heard about the Basilica of Saint Cernin were right. The bell tower is spectacular, but did you see the marble door at the entrance? The carving was beautifully intricate. Make sure you take a look on our way out. Pirates! They must be robbing people who pass through here. We can either fight them or try to avoid battle and sneak by. What should we do? Prepare for battle. Wow, I just took a beating. But I see him on this one. So we need paper for that one and rock for that one. So we'll do scissors, paper, rock. Did I get this right? Yeah. Okay. Probably try paper, paper, rock. Or trade goods. I will wait until we turn in our quest, actually. Let's turn in all of the contracts. So you can only get access to either the event in the world or the landmark in the cities if you have acquired the expedition from one of your other books that you've read. We're just going to turn in all of this. And we have actually doubled our renown to what the game needed us to be.
Hey, Lucia, you seem to be doing well.
Nicolau!
I've heard a lot about your recent adventures. It seems like you're starting to make quite the name for yourself in Lisbon.
It's all thanks to Fernando. He's doing a great job as a captain.
That's good to hear, especially because I was about to say it's time for you to get your first title.
Title? What sort of title?
Remember how I said the kingdom was focused on expanding its influence on the seas?
Yeah.
Well, the royal court's been awarding titles to explorers for their achievements.
Oh, and we qualify?
With all the renown you gained, I imagine so. You should go to the castle and find out.
Before we go any further on our adventure, we should head to the castle and get our new title.
Hail, what business brings you to the castle?
Seafaring explorers who have distinguished themselves through their efforts are eligible for official title from the royal court. You've gained enough renown to earn the title of knight. Do you accept this title? No. I see. Should you have a change of heart, you may come back at any time. What is the point of me getting to say no? On behalf of His Majesty the King, I bestow upon you the title of knight.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Congratulations. May your future deeds bring glory to you in the kingdom. Oh, one more thing to note. Knighted explorers are permitted to enter the castle's library and peruse the literature there. In other words, you are now able to view the kingdom's research into special expeditions called Royal Commissions. These commissions are of the utmost importance. We hope you will consider taking them on. Royal Commissions? Wow! Thank you for letting us know.
You now have access to the castle library.
Lastly, here's the consolatory sum for your father's disappearance that I previously mentioned. Oh, thanks. I do have one question. You're not privately investigating your father's disappearance, are you? Huh? Me? No? Good. That is all for now. May your travels be safe.
We've received 5,000 gold for her missing father. I mean, it's better than nothing, and we actually are almost up to the next ship. But I think this is where we call it for the episode. I'll go and finish up this dialogue here.
Hey, are those two knights I see?
Nicolau, can you believe it? We're knights.
Congratulations! As you put yourself more and more in the royal court's good graces, you're bound to learn about what happened to your father.
About that?
Lucia tells Nikolai about what happened at the castle.
That's an odd thing for him to ask if they've already closed their investigation.
You think we need to be more careful?
There's certainly no harm in exercising caution.
Okay.
Have you thought about what to do next?
We still haven't decided anything. We'll need to see what's available at the guild, but I think we're going to run into a language barrier soon.
I see. What would you say about hiring another navigator? Someone who can, interpret for you?
That'd be great. Is there someone you have in mind?
There is, but is it alright if he's a little on the older side?
Age doesn't matter. What does he do? And how many languages does he speak?
He, works at the guild, speaks 3 languages. Well, at least he tries, and...
Wait, are you talking about yourself?
Yeah?
You should have said so. We'd love to have you join.
Really? I'm glad to hear you say that.
Does that mean you're quitting your job at the guild?
Yeah, it's about time I did so anyway, and seeing you two out on your adventures has gotten me nostalgic for my seafaring days.
Now you'll be adventuring with us.
Thanks for humoring an old man's request. Now, our next destination should be the Mediterranean.
Oh, why there?
Before I say anything more, how about we move this conversation to the tavern, shall we?
Sure, off to the tavern we go.
Nicolau joined your crew. It's time to head to the tavern. You look like you could use some rest. Here, have a seat.
This place is always packed.
Everyone's here to relax and forget about their troubles. Anyway, regarding the Mediterranean.
Right. Why did you say we should head there next?
Well, you know that once you receive a title from the royal court, you'll be able to view their research, right?
Yeah, we were told we're allowed to enter the castle library now.
Right. What you may not have known is that the kingdom's top priority at the moment is finding a sea route to India.
You can't get there through the Mediterranean, can you? I thought you had to take a land route.
That's why they've turned their sights to Africa. Think about it. What if you could sail around the southern tip of the African continent?
You could sail all the way to India.
Exactly. I think it's showing that it's possible to be a good goal to work towards.
That sounds good, but why don't we just do it now?
It's going to be a long voyage, likely longer than our ship can handle. And then there's the issue with the language.
Good points. So what should we do?
That's where the Mediterranean comes in. They speak Greek and the Romance language is there, which I also happen to speak. That means we'll be able to accept expeditions for that region. And do you remember the last location the investigator said your father was in?
Rome.
Right. As it turns out, Rome is also home to the guild with the most information about the Mediterranean. It is the perfect place to search for more details about what happened to your father.
So what you're saying is first we head to Rome to find clues about what happened to my father. Then while we're there, we complete expeditions to gain experience and renown so the royal court would commission us to sail to Africa. Is that about right?
You got it.
That sounds perfect. I have no objections.
Good. Let's get to it. Before we head out, I think we're going to need more navigators.
More navigators?
Yeah, once we're finished in the Mediterranean, we'll be sailing to distant places like Africa. Having more navigators with us will make the journeys much easier.
That makes sense. So, what do we need to do?
The guild helps facilitate the hiring of navigators. Usually you need to get a permit, but I'll reach out to my connections to try and speed things up.
Being a former guild worker has its benefits, huh?
There's one issue though. We don't want others catching wind right now that our crew is getting bigger. It only results in unwanted attention.
Like from the royal court.
Exactly. That's why I think we should proceed with the hiring on a less official basis.
What's the difference?
The navigators would have to use assumed names. It can be a little awkward depending on the names, but otherwise the same as doing it officially.
That doesn't sound bad.
Not at all. I'll go ahead and send word to the guild.
You know, use the hired navigator option at the guilds. See the cabin blueprint. Yeah, actually about those navigators. I noticed this when I was peeking at what kind of crew we could get. Here it is. And these names sound like they might be, I guess that you would call them streamer names. I don't recognize any of them, but I don't really watch that stuff. Like this doesn't sound like a person. I don't know who these people are, but I mean, I'm sure that they are very well known in their fields. And one of these, I'll go and click through all of them so you can kind of see who they are. And one of these is a dog. I think it's a dog. Here we are, right? Shuck. I don't know who that is. All right. We were supposed to get navigators, but I still want to peek inside the castle library. Okay, we can't do any of that. Spherical Earth theory. You're free to hire a navigator from our guild, or I can help you find someone with expertise in a particular field. What would you like? Get recommendations for specialized navigators. How about someone with knowledge in science? I'm told there are navigators with science expertise in Milan. Perhaps you can try your luck there. Okay. So we'll hire one from the guild just to check out what that's like. These here are the navigators who are registered with our guild. It's the ones in this town. Your ship doesn't appear to have any cabins for navigators. If you want to hire a navigator, you'll first need to upgrade your ship at the shipyard to have a cabin. Okay, and this guy knows Greek. So each navigator that we have would require one. I assume that then you can fire them as well. And it's not on that party. It would probably be a button here. I guess we could try to find out. It won't be very difficult. Let's go and upgrade. And we'll change one of these to a cabin. There we go. This costs us 8 capacity, requires 1 crew to man the cabin, and lowers our speed by 2. But yeah, I think we will end the episode after we're done with the stuff in town here. This will probably be a one-shot. It's really more or less to just show you what the game is like, and my episodes are like multi-hour affairs. Want to extend an offer to Woods? Our intermediary fee comes out to 1,000 gold. Yeah, I've sent along the offer. The navigator will join your crew shortly. Good, let's get going. Woods joined your crew. Become our colleague, hired a navigator. Then how do we dismiss them if we don't want... Yeah, it's right there. That's if we needed the space or we didn't want someone with just Greek. For example, this guy has 2 stars in Greek, so that kind of makes this guy not really worthwhile to us. And she knows Spanish. He knows Spanish. She now is no longer worthwhile to us. And I'm assuming that only your character learns skill points, not anybody else, because I don't see bars under anybody else. Our character is kind of learning a little bit of Romance language along the way. Alright, but that'll do it for today's Spotlight. Thank you very much for watching Tran Plays Sagres. I'll see you next time.